Welcome to this week's episode of the Sports Curious podcast. I am your host, Amy Butch-Siegfried, and I am joined by the MVP of the Sports Curious podcast and last night's game, my co-founder, my co-host, Scott. Welcome to the podcast this week. It's a big one.
Thank you for having me for the Super Bowl podcast, and I'll say I'm the co-MVP.
Yeah. Are we the Kelsey Mahomes situation here?
Yes.
Okay. As long as there's matching jackets involved and foot-long Subway cookies.
Can't beat that at all.
I mean, what says better than America and Super Bowl than foot-long cookies? Nothing. So to give our listeners a little bit of a preview of how we're going to accomplish this today, because there's so much content. There's so many great things happening on the Super Bowl, especially Super Bowl that involves Taylor Swift, because everyone's freaked out about that. We're going to kind of do this a little bit in chronological order, because I figured that would make it a little bit easier for us to stay on track and give you an idea of where we're going. So we're going to start by kind of talking about some of the stuff that's happening leading up to the game. They've sold out of space for private planes, which they did during F1 in Vegas. People were getting dropped off and then having planes parked in Kingman in LA and Palm Springs. But I think I read somewhere there's 425 spots to land an airplane in no longer McCaffrey, Harry Reid Airport, which is the big airport in Vegas, and the two airports sort of in the suburbs. And they're all sold out.
Yeah, this is, like we said, F1 sold out. People had trouble getting in, but Super Bowl is even bigger. So we've got Harry Reid, like you said, Henderson, and then North Las Vegas for planes to land. And I'm reading stories about, these tech billionaires that can't even get their planes in here, and they're upset, so they're just staying home. They're not even coming to the game.
Well, we had some friends who flew in for F1, and you get a time slot, right? Just like anything else, you get a time slot, you need to land at this time. And that's a big controversy that everyone I heard this morning in the news was, will Taylor Swift's airplane be able to land? And I said, in all fairness, the NFL will pay someone not to show up to find a space for her to land. But in all fairness, she can land and they can go park her plane in Kingman, Arizona, or somewhere nearby that's not that far. We would call that a ferry flight.
Yes, it seems like NFL's got her taken care of as far as spots go, so we don't have to worry about that.
I mean, the woman since September has a value, $300 million she's brought in value to the NFL, to the Chiefs. So I think they're going to figure out, she could buy a plane with that. So I think they can figure out how they're going to make that work.
Yeah, I mean, drop her off, go park in Kingman, like you said, or another city, and come pick her up afterwards.
Absolutely. So, they were flying in celebrities. There's so much happening in Vegas. Ahead of the Super Bowl, there's always things happening. One thing I want to talk about that is something that we're seeing here as the average fan is the commercials. Now, what do you think about these companies? They're paying a 30-second spot is about $7 million on CBS, which is the same as last year. So what are your thoughts on releasing your commercial early?
I am not for it. I think if you're paying that much money, you have to wait and let people see what's going to happen during the game. Because if they see it already, once they see it in the game, it's not that exciting, right?
I mean, there's the thought process of, you and I might have seen the Paramount commercial that you just sent me that is hilarious. It's Drew Barrymore, Sir Patrick Stewart, excuse me, Tua Tagovailoa, who is the quarterback for the Dolphins. Creed sings in it. I mean, it's a hilarious commercial, but would it be funnier if I watched it live? Yes. But also, what are the chances that you and I have seen it and there's 100 million people watching the Super Bowl? If we've seen it, there's a chance that maybe half that 100 million have seen it, but probably not. So you may be hitting people for the first time on the game anyways.
Yeah, I guess you're right. You can build up the hype telling people I've seen that Creed is playing in the Paramount commercial. So you
I
have
would
to
highly recommend
figure
I
out,
would highly recommend
you
it.
can't get up and go to the bathroom at any point until it actually plays.
Yeah. Well, one thing that's really interesting this year is we don't have any of the big four car companies advertising in the Super Bowl. And I've read a couple articles that blame Tesla because they're making a product that is more, the pricing is different, et cetera, et cetera. But none of the big four. So we have no Ford, no GM, no Toyota, and no parent company for Chrysler, Stellaris, something like that. That might be a drug actually, something like that. Sorry, I just screwed that up. But anyways, the parent company for Chrysler, none of them will be advertising. So you're probably going to see a lot of Audi, a lot of Volkswagen commercials, Hyundai maybe with little Jason Bateman voice, Mercedes.
Yeah, I think a lot of beer commercials this year again to make up for it. And there's
Well,
also
being
to fill the void of the big four. There's a lot of like beauty brands that are jumping in on this, likely due to the Swift influence. I know Dove and maybe a few makeup companies are jumping in.
I think that's great. But also, what is it? The number is about 48% of the NFL's fan base is women. So it's great to see them finally maximize that
Mhm.
capacity because women are watching this game. 48% of, in theory, 48% of those 100 million people watching this game are women. And women carry the buying power for households. And so, hooray for you, beauty brands, for recognizing the opportunity to maximize on this.
And for men like myself, it might be the first time ever hearing about these companies. So it'll be something to talk about, something interesting for sure.
I can't wait till there's another menopause commercial like last year. I mean, that's certainly gonna come up while you're at happy hour with your buddies, right?
Almost every happy hour, yes,
Every happy hour. When you
yes.
get to a certain age, that will be a conversation at your happy hour. I promise you.
Looking forward to that day.
There's been some really cool marketing though that we've seen. American Airlines, they changed their flight numbers. The flight from Kansas City to Las Vegas is flight 1989 for Taylor Swift's album, and the flight leaving Vegas for Kansas City on the February 12th is flight 87, Travis Kelsey's number. Dorito sponsored the side of the Luxor where the media is staying for the Super Bowl. And so if you're not familiar, the Luxor is a pyramid. And it obviously one of the triangles of the pyramid is now a tortilla, or not tortilla, Doritos chip.
Yes,
Brilliant
it is.
marketing. It's really brilliant. But we've all heard of the Sphere in Las Vegas. They're charging about $2 million to advertise on the Sphere. They're completely sold out. Then the prices obviously increase as you get closer to the Super Bowl because you know that's going to be in all kinds of images that are going to show during the event.
Yeah, I think the Sphere is going to be the most viral thing of probably the most shown thing of the entire week. So the $2 million kind of seems like a steal rather
Well,
than
compared
the
to
30
seven,
second.
yeah,
Yeah, for sure.
yeah,
And
absolutely. I mean, they were,
you'll have to come see the side of the pyramid that's a Dorito chip is the side that faces the strip. So
mhm.
when you're here, we'll have to go see it. It's quite a sight to behold.
We're going to take a selfie with a giant Dorito.
Yes,
Okay. Note
that's what
note things to,
the ancient Egyptians probably wanted their pyramids covered in Dorito advertisements.
but is it nacho cheese or Cool Ranch or what flavor are we talking here?
I'm not a connoisseur, but I think it's nacho cheese.
Okay, we'll have to ask the tiny human. He knows a thing or two about Doritos.
Okay, he can clue us in.
Okay.
We'll go look at it for sure.
We'll buy him a bag of Doritos and we'll take him to go see the Dorito when we're
Advertising
celebrating.
already works.
It's awesome. Well, the really interesting thing about this game, amongst many, many things, this is the second time these two teams have met up. They met up in 2019. The Chiefs beat the Niners, and they're calling it the Super Bowl, the Red Super Bowl A because that's Taylor Swift's album. But B, the two teams obviously their primary color is red. And these tickets are the most expensive tickets in Super Bowl history. I read somewhere they're 70% higher than they were last year.
Yeah, I've been looking at ticketing apps, just kind of hoping maybe some prices will drop. And we've discussed the strategy. We're gonna wait till like an hour before the game and see if anything becomes reasonably cheap.
And by
We looked, it's like $10,000 just at like the last row of the stadium, which might as
and
well stay home.
$7,000 seems to be the cheapest ones I've seen in a long time. I
Mhm.
mean, we have people who we've reached out to that have they're their tickets. You're not buying them from a third party vendor, and they're $10,000. The tiny human tried to tell me that he would be okay if he missed school to go to the Super Bowl, and I said, "For $10,000, we're not going to the Super Bowl. You're definitely not going because you're 5." There's no way in hell that's happening. Unless I can stuff
Well,
you in my purse or something or in my shirt, but that's insane
it's very selfless of him to,
to give
offer
up
to miss
school.
school. Yeah, that's very.
I mean, what a kind heart. Really looking for a bonding experience with his family to go with his mom and his uncle to the Super Bowl.
I mean, he kind of rules the world, so I'll go if I have to.
You'll be his chaperone.
Yeah.
Now, while we're leading up to the game itself, we obviously need to talk about food, right? We all love Super Bowl food. What is your go-to if you're having either Super Bowl by yourself or you're going to? Do you have like a go-to Super Bowl food?
I mean, Super Bowl Sunday, calories don't count, so nothing really matters what you eat, as far as I've been told. So I'm more of a pizza person.
2 million
Just more
pizzas consumed on Super Bowl Sunday. You are one
I
of those
saw
2 million.
I saw that stat on the Tulsa 6 News actually
Well, there you
with your
go.
2 million
With
pizzas.
mine. There you go. 2 million pizzas, 88 million pounds of cheese, 1.3 billion chicken wings. I've never made a chicken wing for a party, to be honest. 325 million gallons of beer, 2 million pounds of avocados. Now I can get on board with that. We do make your own nachos at our house for Super Bowl and 7-layer dip.
How many avocados do you use?
I probably buy 2 and make my own guacamole. So probably 1 or 2, which I should probably buy them, like 5 days in advance. 4 days in advance, make sure it all flushes out because, they'll either be completely brown by then or they'll still be rock hard. There's no happy medium to
Yeah,
avocados.
there's no in between, unfortunately.
The most high maintenance fruit there is.
Is that your
Okay, so
go-to
you're
then? Nachos? Or
nachos, yeah. And did you know that after Thanksgiving, Super Bowl is the second highest calorie intake day? I mean, which seems logical.
that's what's more American than Thanksgiving and then Super Bowl.
I mean, nothing really.
Calories don't
Nothing.
count
Calories don't count.
on either day actually. It's science.
So as we make our pregame food, and we should tell people that we have tailgate treats on our website, lastnightsgame.com. So if you want great recipes to share with your friends or to make for a Super Bowl party, check those out. They're on the homepage right there. But as we prep for our food, we're going to need to be rocking out and getting prepared for the Usher concert, also known as halftime. I haven't heard
Hmm.
any rumors about any special guests. Have you?
Not yet. I think it's Vegas, so there's going to be special guests, but they're doing a very good job of keeping it under wraps, which I think that's very Vegas of us to not release anything. But he's got so many collaborations, and there's going to be so many artists in town that I'm sure that it's going to be pretty star-studded and a really fun halftime.
Well, I mean, you have so many amazing performers who have shows, residencies in Vegas now, Usher being one of them, which I mean, it was just a logical fit, right? He's already there. But I can't wait because one of the things about Usher that's so exciting is he's a great performer. He's a great dancer. Like, you're going to be entertained, if anything, just by the pure nature of it.
Yeah, and he's also using this to go on tour afterwards. So this is going to be huge, like launching point for him because as we've discussed before, he doesn't get paid to perform. So he's using this as a kind of a comeback performance, and then he's going on tour straight off of this. So he's
Smart.
definitely capitalizing on the moment.
That's really smart. Well, I mean, I think you nailed it. None of the performers get paid to participate in this Super Bowl. Their production costs get paid,
Mhm.
but they do not get paid to participate in the Super Bowl, and that includes national anthem singer Reba McEntire. Post Malone is singing "America the Beautiful." We have our first ever in-game DJ with Tiesto, so that's very Vegas, very very Vegas of us for that.
Very Vegas.
Now, give me the stat about Reba. There's been some buzz about the length of her national anthem.
National anthem length is always a huge topic going up to the Super Bowl, and currently she's slated to have the over/under is the lowest ever at this point. So sports books that offer it are saying it's going to be the quickest anthem ever. So get in your seat
Who
early and be ready.
so tell me, who has the shortest anthem?
I believe, what did we say? It was Neil Diamond,
Neil Diamond, good old Neil Diamond.
which it's kind of shocking to me, but Neil wanted to get the game going, so let's get this anthem over with.
He was like, "Look, I'm standing between you and your football game and your nachos, so let's get it over with."
Yeah, I think in the last decade, Kelly Clarkson was also the quickest, so she's got some heavy competition to get it done quick.
Well, her former daughter-in-law, Kelly Clarkson.
Really, I did not know that.
There's your fun fact for the day. Yes.
Thank
Reba
you.
was married to Kelly Clarkson's ex-husband. Now both couples are now since divorced, but yes, they were previously
Oh,
daughter, mother-in-law.
there we go.
There's your fun fact for the day.
That's a fun fact. Thank you so much.
Now, speaking of fun facts, one that I really enjoyed, we talked about the Niners and Chiefs have met up before in the 2019 Super Bowl. The Chiefs won that game, but the Chiefs are really it kind of goes back and forth on who's the favorite actually when you look at the sports books. But the Chiefs have a 4-0 record at Allegiant Stadium, which is the home of the Raiders.
Yeah, it's living in Las Vegas. It's kind of a sad stat to talk about, but yeah, Andy Reid and Patrick Mahomes, as a coach-player duo, have the best record of all time at Allegiant Stadium. So Chiefs
It's
fans are
incredible.
very used to success here in Las Vegas, sadly.
I suppose I'm surprised that the Raiders are letting the Chiefs practice at their facility after they're such rivals and they get pummeled when they come into town.
Yeah, unfortunately, it's predetermined. So the Raiders are practicing, or sorry, the Chiefs are practicing at the Raiders facility, and the 49ers are practicing at UNLV's facility. So it's
But they have a
predetermined.
brand new facility too, right?
They have a brand new facility that's extremely nice as well. But I know Mark Davis is probably not thrilled to have the Chiefs take over his new $1 billion facility.
You know, it's probably getting bugged right now. They're going to pick up all the pointers from this game from the Chiefs and then bring them into the next season.
Yeah, I know that
Maybe that was their tactic.
Bill Belichick's out there, free agent right now, so they might be bringing him in to get some of his tactics.
Swoop in.
Yeah, he's available.
Now, he's available. Now, one of the storylines I really like about these two teams is we have Patrick Mahomes, who has had an incredible run when it comes to Super Bowls. I believe this is his third or is it his fourth?
Fourth Super Bowl in 6 years as a starter.
That's right. Fourth Super Bowl in 6 years as a starter, which is an incredible number.
Yes.
He and Travis Kelce already set the record for touchdowns in a postseason. Kelce passed 49ers legend Jerry Rice for playoff receptions. Like, the Chiefs have been on fire lately. Maybe it was a rough season, kind of hit and miss there during the season, but they've been on fire. And they're coming in and they're playing Brock Purdy, who makes $870,000 a year, which is a lot of money. Don't get me wrong. But he's compared to Patrick Mahomes' $59 million. He has a roommate in California to pay for his housing. I mean, and for those of you who don't know, Mr. Irrelevant is the last pick in the draft. And they're named Mr. Irrelevant because they really don't have a chance of ever making a big league roster.
Mhm.
And so Brock Purdy has said, I see you, Mr. Irrelevant, but I'm going to go ahead and trump you, and has been ultimately the most successful Mr. Irrelevant ever. He will not be the first Mr. Irrelevant to win a Super Bowl because two others have done that already. But it's incredible you have this dichotomy of two athletes who are both incredible, but they're just in different spaces in their career. And they're only a couple years apart. I mean, what Mahomes has been in 6 years, and this is the second year for Purdy.
Yes, and he was in college for quite a few years, so he is a little bit older. But yeah,
Okay.
two people playing the same position, leading their teams to the Super Bowl with, what, $58 million in salary difference. It's
It's
it's really
incredible.
shocking, to be honest with you. I mean, Brock Purdy is the first Mr. Relevant to ever throw a touchdown pass in a game. So, I mean,
It's
that puts it in perspective what he's been able to do.
It's incredible. I did love the stuff I saw this weekend and the photos of Patrick Mahomes and people were teasing him about his dad bod, and he's like, "Look, dude, I have kids. I do have a dad bod. Like this is me." And he may be an incredible quarterback, but maybe he doesn't have a six pack, and that's okay. I'm here for this. I'm here for this, Patrick Mahomes. I support you in how you do your job.
Yeah, six packs can't throw touchdown passes, so he's for the common man.
I'm not trying to do laundry on his abs. I want to see him throw a touchdown pass.
Yeah,
Okay, this
yeah,
is where we're at.
yeah. And Brock Purdy is not any physical specimen either, so it's kind of refreshing.
You may not know the answer to this question, but size wise, are they sort of the same height and similar like height? And I don't really know how tall Patrick Mahomes is, to be honest.
I think he's about 6'2", so I think they're about the same height, give or take.
Okay. You just kind of never know when you see them out there on the field and you have guys like
Yeah.
Travis Kelce who are huge and you have a lineman who's huge. And so I wasn't quite sure how that all worked itself out.
In normal life, they're big people, but not on the field necessarily. No.
Now, we've covered a lot. I'm curious if there's anything you want to leave everyone with as we roll into the Super Bowl.
Let's see. Do I have time for two points?
Sure. And I'm going to wrap us with one. So there you go.
Okay. I know there's a lot of talk about these teams being in Vegas for a full week if they're going to get in trouble or not, or there's so many different options. So they've opted to have them stay out at Lake Las Vegas, which is 25 minutes away from the Strip. It's very secluded. It's hard to get in and out of without getting caught or someone noticing. So they're taking away any really
Temptation.
temptation out of it. So that's good news. And then also I want to can I just discuss a prop bet?
Yes, please do.
So there's a lot of prop bets on the game as we've discussed previously, and I know we'll get into it further. But one of my favorite prop bets that I've just seen come out, we'll give one free shout out on this podcast to Station Casinos here in Las Vegas. They've got the tight end versus pop star prop. Will Travis Kelce have more receptions in the championship game than his pop star girlfriend's total number of 10 platinum albums? So
Oh, that's an interesting one.
that is quite the statistical analysis that you're gonna have to do on that one.
So you're gonna pick that one.
I mean, everyone is going to, and they're geniuses for doing this and putting it out. So it's either
Right.
less than 9 or over 11. So
Over 11. Okay. Well, and for those who don't know, a prop bet is it's short for a proposition bet. So these are sort of the fun things that you can bet on during the Super Bowl, the length of the anthem, what color is the Gatorade that gets jumped on the winning coach, who will win the coin toss. Those kinds of things are prop bets. I saw one, actually someone told me about this one yesterday. If the Chiefs have to win and then aliens will come down into Vegas. That was a prop bet. I was like, where is this? Who is betting on this for aliens?
I think that's most likely the outcome.
There was also one out there about will Travis Kelce propose on the field? And everyone I talked to was like, he better not. A.
I don't think he will. And a lot of those are
B.
not actually in legal sports books. A lot of those are like offshore.
Right.
Kind of deals. Yeah, the Gatorade prop's only available in 5 states. So
okay.
And DC.
Okay.
Yeah,
so you can't. The aliens I have not seen on a legit site, but someone did tell me about that yesterday. And I thought, well, that's one I wouldn't take because I'm pretty sure I'm not betting on aliens.
Maybe. I don't know.
Maybe not.
And you have one more point.
Okay. I do. I was going to wrap us with a fun one because, people are either up in arms and there's all this talk about Taylor Swift, but let's talk about the fact that she has elevated the game completely, right? Numbers were up 11% for viewership numbers last weekend or 2 weekends ago for the championship games. So when you really look at it, she's doing great things for the game. End of story. But I everyone's always she loves numbers and everyone loves conspiracy theories. So this is Super Bowl 58. And 5 plus 8 equals 13, which is her lucky number. So will we see her in a Christian Juice Check original that she wore and really helped blow Kristen's designer jackets up. And for those of you who don't know, Kristen makes custom jackets. She's made them for Brittany Mahomes, Taylor Lautner, Simone Biles, that are all themed around their teams. She just signed. She is the wife of Kyle Juszczyk, who is on the Niners. So will Taylor Swift wear one of her outfits? Kristen's outfits? I don't know. But Kristen also has a licensing deal now with the NFL, which I think is really cool.
Yeah, her rise to stardom has been pretty incredible to watch, and her husband's support of her
Mm-hmm.
her art. I don't know. Is that right? Fashion art? I'm not sure.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, he's been out there just stumping for her. Every time someone mentions something about her, he was like, that's my girl, or design made by Kristen, and like all these things. And I think that's really cool. A true sign of a power couple.
Yes.
So,
And can I
well, thank you
take
for
you
sharing all things. Oh, you got one more?
one more fact,
Yep.
just because it's a Super
Let's
Bowl?
do it.
We're gonna go McCaffrey Shanahan fact. Ed McCaffrey
Mm.
and Mike Shanahan, the two fathers of Kyle and Christian, won Super Bowls with the Broncos. Ed was wide receiver, Mike was the head coach. Now Christian McCaffrey and Kyle Shanahan are hoping to win Super Bowl as player coach combo. 29 years after
And
the fathers.
Christian McCaffrey is the running back for the Niners, and Kyle Shanahan is their head coach.
Yeah.
So dads and dads. I mean, the kids of the kids are trying to meet up with their dads here, and I think the dads had 3 Super Bowl wins together, if I remember correctly.
They have more than their sons, so I'm sure they rub that in every holiday.
I'm sure they probably have tattoos. So can you get up to this? Not nothing until you get these three Super Bowls. Well, something to think about for your team who you're cheering for. I'm not even going to ask you who you're going to pick, because so many people I talk to are like, I don't really know. It's going to be a really good game because they're 2 very evenly matched teams.
Yes. Yes, I put a small future bet on November 1st on the 49ers to win the Super Bowl. So I
Okay,
might take the
you've heard it here first.
Chiefs with the points in the game and try to get both. So we'll see.
There you go. Well, we will stay tuned. We will fill everyone in. LastNightsGame.com. Of course, keep up with us on social media at Last Night's Game. Thanks, Scott, for being here.
Thank you.